So it's once again weekend preview time at Timeform HQ. Looking ahead to hopefully the ITV races tomorrow and picking out a few winners. And Dan, it's your turn this week, Dan Barber. Yeah. It's a sort of time of year now where you'd be forgiven for saying racing suffers from the blues. It's not the most exciting from the offset, but hopefully a few decent bets anyway.
Yeah, it is. Said this earlier on ATR. It's a bit calm before storm, isn't it? But I do think the Lanzarote and the Classic Chase at Warwick are two standalone races that grace any weekend.
Mm-hmm.
Grace Cheltenham festivals. Wouldn't be surprised if that was the next step. Mares races, now Veterans Chase is being discussed. Why not just shift every race in the calendar to the Cheltenham Festival and don't bother racing on any other day of the week? That's professional of me, sorry.
It's the fans getting in touch.
I'll just turn this off. Forgive me. It's Tony Calvin.
Oh, hope he's watching.
Anyway, go on.
So, speaking of the Lanzarote, speak of the devil, we'll start off with that, and it's an intriguing renewal this year.
Yeah.
It's got 4 horses in focus from Timeform perspective. Plenty of unexposed types as well. DS de BF.
Yeah, we'll go with that. DS de Beef.
Yeah.
De BF.
Someone's going to tell us off for
French
that. 6-1 at the moment with the bookmakers. Where are you looking at here?
One of those, if I'm playing this race, I probably would keep him on side because he's one of maybe 2 or 3 real unknown quantities. I got this race down to 3. He was 1, and I've saved on him. Another one was Core Blimey. I'll probably add him at some stage. I don't mind backing 3 in a race when... If you think each horse is value, back them. Doesn't matter. I mean, you might end up in a position where you're betting 4 to 7, 3 or 4 in a race, but if you think it's 4 to 1 on that one of them wins it, then you're on good bets, so don't mind that at all. So I've played this anti-post. DSWF is probably saving material, really. Mainly with Red Indian, though.
Okay.
Don't like the name of this horse, but it is what it is. Shaped well. If everyone remember those Cheltenham meetings this year, they've been blighted by terrible ground, particularly on the inside of the track. Horses have just been getting bogged down there. He was one of very few over the course of the 2 meetings that actually made headway on the inner in the straight and passed horses, and he got into 3rd, looking a stayer. I think he'll be a lot sharper for that. His reappearance form reads really well. He was 2nd to Golden Birthday, trained by Harry Fry, who won his next 2, and he was running off 123 that day. In hindsight, he was chucked in, and Red Indian pushed him close, and there was miles back to the rest. So I think he's a well-handicapped horse. 8s, 9s, 10s each way, I think he's a really good price, particularly if all 16 stand the ground and we get full places.
2 points each way on that one.
Yeah, I would do it that price. I think 10s each way in a race where I've got it down to 3 or 4. What you're looking at there, you're looking at 5 to 2 a place. And that'll do for me.
There's a saying, isn't there? Is it flying home like a Red Indian, or have I made that up?
Maybe.
Yeah.
It's a slightly dodgy area. Anyone who follows the NFL and is aware of the controversy over the name Redskins would appreciate it.
Is that the Deflate
very
Gate?
clever name.
No,
just because whether the name is appropriate.
Right, okay.
I don't think it is.
That's showing my absolute lack of knowledge in the NFL there. So we'll jump to Warwick and the Classic Chase, the other one we talked about earlier, and this is probably going to be a tough test on what looks like it's going to be soft ground. The market's headed by Missed Approach, 6 to 1 at the moment. Was a decent 6th in the Ladbrokes Trophy last time. There's plenty of other ones in here. Emperor's Choice caught my eye, won the last fling at Haydock. I was there that day to see that. And if it's going to be a tough test, he's one to keep an eye on. But where would you play in this?
Well, yeah, he revels under those sort of conditions. I was down at Chepstow last week and he took a cruncher at the first. I mean, there'd be some constitution to bounce back from a hard race at Haydock than a nasty fall. So I'd pass him over today. You can see the case of Missed Approach. Handicap has dropped him £6 for shaping well. That's very generous. He's a bit of a moody so-and-so though, and his form figures, as you can see on the sheet there, like they give you an indication as to what type of horse he is. He's a bit hit and miss. On a going day, he might take some passing because he's really well handicapped. But going elsewhere, I'll go with Indian Castle, who's a quirky so-and-so himself. What he wants really is the leaders to go hard and to stop, and he wants this sort of slogging trip, 3.5 miles on bad ground. That's right up his street. Jockey change is a good thing because he's ridden by an amateur the last twice, so he's going into a professional race here. Therefore, he's got professional handling in the shape of Robbie Dunn, master in these big handicaps in staying events. So he's a rider I like to have on side, and I don't think many of these are that interesting. Again, played it anti-post, had a little bit on Cross Park, had a little bit on Ballycross, and the hopes that they put in clear rounds, but primarily with Indian Castle there. I mean, he's on a massive losing run, but this would be a perfect opportunity, and it looks a perfect opportunity in terms of track, ground, etc., for him to set the record straight.
Potentially the Indian double as well, over 100 to 1, I think,
yeah.
If my maths treats me right, 11s and 10s.
Yeah, so that would be some return if we could. Particularly, I say, you'd hope one firm or other, maybe more, will go 4 places on that tomorrow, even though there are 15 and it should be 3. Yeah. Maybe a few will go 4 out of
1
generosity.
or 2, I think, yeah.
Maybe they'll change them on and it'll be 4 or 5.
So, back over to Kempton for a race which I don't actually think is on ITV. I think it's a Racing UK race. A handicap chase over 2.5 miles. Don't have the luxury of prices at the moment, but you fancy a couple against the field here?
Yeah, I'm hoping we've got an angle. I say angle. Maybe they're the 2 obvious ones and they'll be first 2 in the betting. We obviously hope not. But Exitas has been a popular horse this year for obvious reasons. Bishop's Court is a last time out winner, and Breath of Blighty ran well the other day. I hope there's enough in those 3 to make the market slightly for Mercy and Prince and the Tailgater, because I think those 2 stand out by a mile really. Mercy and Prince shaped so well for a long way over the national fences last time until getting tired. I think you were there that day. And the Tailgater, when I was up at Donny, sauntered out the back, fresh off a break in a small field but fairly well contested handicap, cruised into it, got there on the bridle and then idled in front. He's that sort of horse. He's not entirely straightforward, but there's more ability to be shown as far as I'm concerned with him, and in a race where a couple of these will front run, he might just be able to pick his way through again and be delivered late under his rider, John Joe O'Neill Jr., who rode him at Donny and looks like, with the likes of James Bowen, Mitchell Bastian, look like a really great crop of young riders.
Plenty of really exciting young riders.
Absolutely, yeah. We're spoiled at the minute for sure.
I've seen a couple of John Joe's rides, John Joe O'Neill's juniors. They've been brilliant. Very good rider,
just calm and confident beyond his years. And I think a big thing is, if you're riding for family members, I think the Skeletons have found this, you've not got something to fall back on as such, but you know that your brother or father isn't going to tear a strip off you if you give a bad ride, so you can perhaps operate a bit differently. You're not fretting, oh, well, I'll still get the support of this trainer. That's my reading of the situation anyway, but as a punter, you just think he's a very good value for 7, and he definitely is.
So in the 130 at Kempton, to clarify, Tailgater and...
Yeah, price allowing, it might be a point on each, and we probably will be playing at something like 4 to 5 versus the field, but that's fine for me.
Okay, over to Wetherby, another race on Racing UK, this one, for the 2:15, a handicap chase. Your next best is in this? Yeah,
again, I'm slightly concerned about price here, but Bundoran's basically a standout, isn't he? He's Just Cameron's the last time out course winner, who can hopefully enable us to get some odds against. I imagine he will be pushing evens this horse, but he shaped really well at Cheltenham on his comeback. As a rule, I think Tom George's horses are better for a run. He can get them ready first time out, of course he can, but the way this horse shaped was he seemed to lack. More to the point, he was rather rusty off the bridle. He took a while to get organised, and he made a mistake. Bit of a second wind towards the end, but the winner had gone by that stage. This is a lesser race. Let's hope the fact that Just Cameron won at the track last time means that we can get something like, I don't know, 11 to 8 is probably ambitious, 5 to 4 maybe, Bundoran.
Not bad. Would that be a couple of points or 2 or 3?
Yeah, it would be at 5 to 4, 11 to 8 for definite. Yeah, okay. If you get into odds even money, it might just be a pointer.
Okie dokie, Bundoran there. And last but not least, back to Kempton for the 3:15A handicap chase. And an interesting one here, your Nap. If I remember correctly, you tipped this on the weekend preview a couple of weeks ago, or start of December.
Yeah. It was a newbie, wasn't it?
Yeah. He's fallen his last 2 starts, but now pitched into handicap company.
Yeah, saying to Gina earlier on the telly that I wish this was a 3-mile flat race, because he'd win it by half the track. It's Fountain to Wingfold, Danny Short Pants here going for horses that are barely above evens, but what beats him? I mean, apart from the fences, and then I'm not saying you're just pricing him up what prices he to fall. Clearly, something like Ballyalton with his ability, or On Tour who's a bit mercurial, could come and chin us, but we're guaranteed a soft lead here, I think. The rest are just bona fide hold-up horses. On Tour's dropped out, Andy's trying a new trip, so there's no way they'll press on with him. Ballyalton tends to race mid-div. That's probably as close as he gets to the pace. And we know what Fountain's Windfall does, because he obliterated a good field of handicappers at Aintree last back end, which pretty much put into our mind what sort of horse he was, his style and his stamina, etc. He can avoid mistakes, and I really don't think he's as bad a jumper as those form figures suggest. He's tackled big fences the last twice. He can set the record straight, because I think he'd have won the Quarto Star Novice had he stood up. And whether it was a good renewal or not, it still makes him interesting off a mark in the mid-140s.
I think it's a lenient mark, that.
I do, yeah. I think this horse has got loads of ability. It's just about him not being daft and misjudging one or two, but they'll be so keen as well. I mean, of course, every Saturday, trainers and jockeys are keen to win big races, but what more motivation could you want for wanting to make sure everything that goes right is a good horse like him, probably the best in the yard, trying to get him back on track after successive faults. So I think he'll make all.
Okay, well, thanks very much for that. I know you've had a busy day of ATRing, haven't you, today? So
yeah, it's got to be done on it.
And
keep the name going.
I believe you're back next week. It's your turn again next week, isn't it? It's more interesting.
Long straw.
Clarence House next week, which should. Right.
Is he not doing it?
Who, Lynchy?
Clarence House. No, he's not in.
I'm not sure. I think Lynchy's on the week Festival Trials week. I think you could by all means swap it around at your own leisure. But yeah, I'll no doubt see you next week.
See you later, pal. Thank you.